But the only thing I'm regretting right about now is not having bought a bigger brisket to do this with, because it is awesome. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to G-Rod Grills. My name is Gerardo and this is my channel. If you're into backyard barbecue on a variety of different smokers, including this Bradley P10 smoker you see here right beside me, then please consider subscribing because that's exactly what this channel is all about. Today I'm going to be smoking up this delicious pastrami, but I've actually got a corned beef, a pickled corned beef from my butcher, and we're going to be smoking that and making it a pastrami style corned beef. I'll show you how we do that. I know it's about the same really. Pastrami and corned beef are really almost the same thing. They're just cooked a little bit differently. So I started off with corned beef. I'm going to make pastrami and it's going to be fantastic. Using the P10, we're using some oak wood in there. Can't wait to get this going and put it on some nice delicious sourdough bread for a sandwich. It's going to be amazing. Are you ready to get going? Let's go. Okay, here we go. So here I've got myself, it's about a half of a flat of a brisket. It's been pickled. I picked this up from my butcher. You can find these super easily around St. Patrick's Day. You can also even just ask your butcher to get you a pickled brisket. And that's what this is pretty much it. It's about half the flat. As you can see, it's been kind of sliced. So a pickled brisket is essentially corned beef. This is kind of going to be like a pastrami style corned beef, if you will. So here we go. This is about a 3-pound flat. It's again not very big, but as you can see, it's got tons of part of that pickling brine that they put on it, and it looks awesome. It smells great as is, but we're going to add a little bit more flavor to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by seasoning with the Bradley's seasoning pepper. Now this is part of their new lineup of rubs and seasonings. Great stuff, adds an awesome little bark. And again, with a pastrami, you typically do have a nice little pepper bark, and this is like a pepper, coriander, and a few other kind of herbs in there, some dill, some fennel, some red pepper. But you'll see it's very coarse and it turns out pretty good. So just gonna cover the fat side, and then I'm gonna cover the other side as well on this to add to this already awesome crust that's here. So let's go. All right, that's it. So now we've got it all covered in the seasoning pepper here, and it looks amazing. So you can see that crust this is gonna bake is gonna be amazing. So that's it. We're gonna let it sit here at room temperature until our smoker gets up to temperature. We're gonna be doing it at 250 degrees, and I'll show you when we're ready to put it in there. All right, here we go. So we're ready for the smoke. We've got our thermometer in there. We're gonna put this into the smoker. It's set at 250 degrees, running some oak wood. And once we get it in there, we're gonna let it go probably for another 2-3 hours. Pretty small brisket, so I don't think it'll take longer than about 3 hours. But we're gonna let it smoke. We're not gonna touch it, we're just gonna let it go. Once the temperature gets to 155-ish degrees, I'm going to pull it out and I'll show you how we finish this off. But now, let's get it in there. Beauty, we're all set. I'll show you when we're ready to take it out of there. All right, here we go. So we've got our internal temperature is now hitting at 155 degrees. Let's have a look. That's looking gorgeous. Beautiful. Nice crust built on top. Looks good. So we're gonna pull it out of here and we're gonna finish it off. I'll show you how we do that shortly. Okay, here we go. I've got here a roasting pan with a wire rack inside. You want something that's just big enough for your meat here. This is a little bit bigger than what I needed, but it's what I've got at home. And it's got this wire rack that's going to be lifted a little bit. So you want that, because what you're going to do here is we're going to place the brisket onto the rack. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put hot water into the pan, and this is what's going to kind of braise the meat now further and to get it tender. And the reason why we're using hot water is because you don't want to spend your cooking time here warming up the water. Like that's just the way. So let's use hot water. And what you want to do, I've got a kettle here that I've boiled, and I'm just gonna filling up. I'm watching so that it doesn't quite hit the water, like the meat underneath, but it's just covering enough to the rack underneath it so that there's enough water. You can always top this off too in a little bit if you think it needs a little bit more water, but you want enough of this water in here that it's going to braise it, because we're going to cover it here with some foil, and that's going to kind of create that moisture trap in there and really kind of tenderize this or really soften up that brisket, and it's going to be perfect. Well, and that's it. I'm just going to cover it with foil and put it into the oven now, and no longer needs to be into the smoker because we're not adding any more smoke to this. So I'm throwing it into the oven, 300 degrees. It's already been preheated, really sealed tight all the way around here. And we're going to put it in there until the probe tells me we're at about 203 degrees. And then I'm going to come give it a few pokes just to see where we're at in terms of tenderness. As long as we're tender, we're ready to go. See you in a little bit. All right, here we go. So my alarm's gone off. Brisket sitting at 203 internal temperature. Let's give it a little poke and see where we're at. So I've got here a ThermaWorks Thermapen 1, and you just want to give it pokes to see how we are for tenderness. Pretty tender all the way through. I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to pull this. I'm going to keep it wrapped and just going to let it rest for a good 15 minutes or so it's not scalding hot when we go to slice it. I'll show you when we're ready to do that. Okay, here we go. So we've given it about 15 minutes to kind of rest. It's still very warm to the touch. I just want to get in here and give it a slice. So this is going to be a hot pastrami sandwich, which is perfectly fine by me. Got ourselves a nice little sharp long blade here. It's a brisket slicer, and we're just going to give her nice thin slices. My goodness, I just realized I sliced this the wrong way. You should be slicing against the grain, but check that out. Looks amazing. So let's give this a little spin and let's slice against the grain here. Nice thin slices. It's still really, really super hot. It's just kind of burning my hands, but my, oh my. It smells amazing. I can't wait to give this a try. So let's do that. See you in a bit. All right, it's ready to go here, and this smells fantastic. It's torturing me to not try it, so it's time to give it a go. It's very good. Spoiler. All of that delicious corned beef flavor, but with that punch of smoke. Kind of tastes like a pastrami, but it's a little smokier. I could eat it just like this, but I'm not gonna eat it just like this. We're gonna eat it in a sandwich. Here I got some sourdough. I know, we should be using some marble rye, but my bakery was out, so I went with some sourdough, and it's really good too. Got some homemade Russian dressing here. Oh yeah. Pile that pastrami high. Boom. Lots of it. A little more of this dressing on top. That. Tons of meat in there. This is way better than buying it at the store. Wow, so much more smoke to it. The tenderness is perfect. The meat tastes fabulous. That wonderful color that you get out of it. But the only thing I'm regretting right about now is not having bought a bigger brisket to do this with, because it is awesome. That crust from the seasoning pepper from Bradley, fabulous, fabulous. I used it in my pork belly video too, if you've seen that video. It's awesome. Wicked little crust on top, nice and coarse, but you've got all that pickling flavor from the brine that the brisket was brined in. Good Lord, so good. Honestly, I thought I needed something this small because it'd only be my wife and I, but I feel like I can eat all of this, and my wife can, I'll tell her what it's like, because it's really good. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see some more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content. Like you saw at the beginning of the video, there is a special offer available to you today. If you'd like to purchase any one of the Bradley products you saw in my video today, whether it's the smoker, the racks, the seasoning, anything that Bradley offers on their website, head on over to bradley.com and use code GROD at checkout to save yourself a little bit of cash. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish eating this sandwich and probably make myself another one. You have yourself an awesome day, and until next time, I'll catch you on the next GROD Grills.